This episode contains themes of violence, manipulation, psychological trauma, and death. Listener discretion is advised. One plays the game to survive. One controls the game to watch you lose. A debt-ridden gambler who bet everything and walked out alive. A masked warden who turned players into pawns and death into entertainment. But the game never really ends. Sometimes the final round is not on the playground. It happens in the shadows, where the rules mean nothing, and only one mind walks away. When survival faces control, someone breaks first. Welcome to Chaos Crucible, the show where icons clash and only one comes out standing. I'm your host, and today we step back inside the deadliest game ever played. Welcome to Chaos Crucible, the show where icons clash and only one comes out standing. I'm your host, and today we step back inside the deadliest game ever played. One side of the playground, a desperate man who risked it all to save himself and everyone left behind. Player 456, Seong Gi-hun. Broke, beaten, but too stubborn to die when the odds demanded it. On the other side, the masked mind behind the marble games and the glass bridges. The front man, once a player, now the warden. He watches the desperate crawl for money while he pulls every string from the control room. They know each other's secrets. They know each other's limits. But when the game turns personal and the masks come off, survival is not about marbles, glass, or guns. It is about who can rewrite the rules faster. Let's break it down. Before we talk about who breaks who, we need to see where they started. Knowing what built them shows what might bring them down. Seong Gi-hun was not born to be a hero. He was not a soldier, a fighter, or a mastermind. He was a gambler, broke, drowning in debt, a father too ashamed to look his daughter in the eye, a son who stole from his own mother to buy one last chance at hope. When he stepped into Squid Game, he did not come to win. He came because the world outside had already beaten him. But when the marbles hit the dirt and the bullets found his friends, something in him refused to bow. He turned kindness into strategy. He turned mercy into a hidden blade. He learned when to trust, when to lie, and when to stand alone. In the end, player 456 won because he refused to become what the game wanted him to be. But the blood on his hands did not wash off. And when he saw who really pulled the strings, he realized the game never really ends. Now let's talk about the front man. Before he was the overseer of life and death, he was a player too, Wang and Ho, a brother, a violinist, a man who stepped into the game like everyone else, crushed by debts and regret. He won. He walked out with freedom, but the price for survival was to become the thing he beat. He put on the mask, picked up the gun, and turned his own brother into a piece on his board. He became the front man, the shadow in the control room, who turned hope into sport and desperation into profit. He knows every rule. He knows every blind spot. He knows how easily trust becomes betrayal when survival is on the line. He does not just enforce the game, he is the game. One is proof that the game can be beaten. The other is the proof that winning does not set you free. Both knows what happens when survival becomes a currency. Origin shapes the heart, but survival is decided by what you bring when words run out. Gi-hun is not trained to fight. He is not a soldier or an assassin. He is just desperate enough to do what others would not. He survived tug of war, glass bridges, and betrayal with nothing but instinct, luck, and reckless courage. He does not win by brute force. He wins by crawling through the mud until you think he is finished, then hitting back when your guard drops. He can take a punch. He can take a beating. He stays standing because staying down has never been an option. Now let's talk about the front man. The front man does not brawl if he does not have to. He commands. He watches. But if forced into a corner, he does not hesitate to pull the trigger or choke the life out of someone who breaks the rules. He is precise, cold, and practical. If you run, he shoots. If you hide, he waits. If you beg, he does not listen. He is not the strongest man in the room, but he is most prepared to kill when the mask slips. One claws forward when all hope is gone. The other stands still while you waste your last breath. Fists are cheap. Words are cheaper. The real fight is about what they turn into a weapon. Gi-hun has nothing but what is around him. A marble, a broken promise, a smile that makes you believe he is harmless. He turns pity into distraction and trust into a trap. He does not carry a gun. He does not need to. He turns people into his weapon. The front man brings the system. Cameras, guards, guns, silence. A locked door behind you when you thought you were free. He does not improvise. He plans. And if you do not follow the rules, he reminds you who wrote them. One fights with what you give him. The other fights with what you fear losing. The final game is never the tug of war. It is the space between two eyes when you realize you have already lost. Gi-hun's greatest weapon is not his fists or his luck. It is his ability to make you drop your guard when you should not. He turns pity into a shield. He turns friendship into a test. He makes you believe he is too soft, too kind, and too broken to be a threat. He did not survive the game by being cruel. He survived by showing mercy just long enough for it to cut deeper than any knife. When you think he is harmless, that is when he strikes. When you think he is your friend, that is when he leaves you behind. His kindness is real, but when it shatters you too. In the game, he broke alliances with a smile. He earned trust with tears. He made the worst betrayal feel like an accident until you realized he knew exactly what it would cost you. That is his mind game. He does not break you with fear. He breaks you with hope. The front man does not need hope. He does not need your trust. He does not waste time pretending he is something he is not. His mask is his wall. His silence is his weapon. He does not gloat. He does not argue. He stands there while you beg, while you break, while you try to understand why someone like him could become what he is, and he never tells you. His strength is the calm that kills. He watches. He waits. He lets you talk yourself into believing there is a way out. Then he flips the switch, pulls the trigger, or walks away while you drown in your own choices. He does not play the game to win your mind. He makes sure your mind breaks itself. One manipulates mercy until it poisons you. The other drains mercy until there is none left to give. And when the mask comes off, the real question is whose mind cracks first when the game has no exit. Every survivor has a flaw. Every warden has a blind spot. The final crack decides who falls when the lights go out. Gi-hun's biggest strength is his heart. But his heart is also the softest target. He cares too much for people who do not deserve it. He hesitates when he should strike. He talks when he should run. He wants to save everyone, even when saving everyone is impossible. He is desperate, yes, but desperation clouds judgment. It makes him trust when he should not. It makes him give people one more chance when they do not deserve it. The game uses that against him, and the front man knows exactly how to twist that blade. The front man's weakness is the mask itself. He hides because part of him still remembers what it meant to care. He killed his brother because the game demanded it, but under that silence there is guilt. He covers it with control. He covers it with power. But if someone pulls the mask off, the man underneath is not untouchable. He relies on the system, the walls, the guards, the cameras. Strip that away, corner him with no control left, and the warden starts to look like the same desperate player he used to be. One cares too much for the wrong people. The other pretends not to care at all. And when the game flips the board, the first crack is all that it takes to bring both to the floor. When survival and control stand face to face, only one writes the last rule. If this is a clean fight in the dark, with no time to think and no space to run, the front man holds every card. He knows how to aim. He knows when to pull the trigger. He does not hesitate when the rules are clear and the outcome is locked into place. He has the mask, the gun, the system he built to trap players like Gi-hun. He knows the walls. He knows the exits. If you walk into his game, you play by his terms. And if you break them, he ends it himself. But the game is never just about who pulls the trigger first. It is about who refuses to play by the rules. Gi-hun does not fight fair because he never had the luxury to. He fights with desperation that slips under the mask and twists the game in his favor. He does not win by overpowering the front man. He wins by outlasting him, by making him remember what it felt like to stand in the dirt with the marbles in his pocket and death in his eyes. He drags the game master back down to the floor, where there are no cameras, no guards, no more rules left to hide behind. The front man is ruthless, but Gi-hun is stubborn enough to survive betrayal, torture, and the guilt of every friend he buried. And that stubbornness is the crack the front man cannot control. Because at the end of the day, the man behind the mask is just another player trying to forget he ever was. When survival meets control, power is only power until someone is willing to die to break it. And so your winner here is player 456. That was player 456 versus the front man, a gambler who turned mercy into a blade sharp enough to cut through the rigid walls of the deadliest game alive. A masked warden who traded his soul to control the chaos he once survived. That was player 456 versus the front man, a gambler who turned mercy into a blade sharp enough to cut through the game's cruelest mask. A warden who traded freedom for power, only to find that control is just another prison when survival refuses to kneel. One truth buried under the marble dust. You can build walls, write rules, and hide behind cameras, but you can never fully control a mind desperate enough to burn it all down. Next time on Chaos Crucible, we open the gates to something darker. Spawn versus Ghost Rider. Two spirits bound by vengeance, forged in fire and chains, each dragging sinners back to hell in their own way. When the damned collide, who drags you down first? Pick your side. Drop your matchup. Subscribe so you do not miss the next battle when the Crucible lights up again. Here, the game never ends, and survival is still the only prize left worth fighting for.